Okay, so we're live now. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful weekend about this chat that I'm going to have with our author, Kuntala Bhattacharya. So I would like to introduce Kuntala now. Kuntala is one of our authors and she has had multiple books released, but today we are going to talk about her poetry collection, The Treasures of Life. So I would like to invite Kuntala now to introduce herself and her book.
Thank you, and I'm very glad for this opportunity. And now I'm publishing all my books through Kyoto, so I'm quite glad to be in this journey. So, sort of introducing myself. Look, so if you say full timer, who am I? Then I'm actually an IT professional. Okay, working for almost more than 21 years now. But yeah, if you talk about my passions and my desires, then I am a poet. I am a short story writer and a travel blogger as well. And, I connect with poems very much because I've been reading poems. I've been writing short snippets of poems since I was in school, college. So that's the passion I am really attached to. And it's sort of an introduction. And yes, the book published by Kyoto. Yeah.
Yes. Can you show the book to the viewers and
Yes.
also introduce it to them?
Yeah. So, yeah, I hope you can see this is the Treasures of Life, which is the name of the book. So, why I named it as Treasures of Life? Basically, because I'm quite fascinated by the different emotions and feelings of life. And that can be sad, that can be something happy, that can be something very a feeling for your near ones. Feeling for yourself, because those which define our life, those are the different facets of life, and it has been quite a sort of attraction to me to be associated with them. So this book actually portrays all those small feelings of life, our attractions to our parents, our bonding towards our children, friends, to ourselves, to recognize yourself and how you should motivate or inspire yourself. So all those feelings I have tried to capture in the poems here, even love for nature.
Yes.
So that's what the book is for, and the poems. Yeah.
Right. I was particularly very interested in the title of the book and how the title sort of encompasses like all sorts of emotions that you're talking about. So in the poetry collection, there's a lot of poems about the lows of our lives, but also the highs of our lives. And I think that's very interesting because, like everyone says, without the high, we don't have the low, and without the low, we
Yeah.
don't have the high. So
Yeah.
I liked how you sort of collectively mentioned it in the treasures of life. So
Yeah.
very aptly put.
Yeah, actually, our life is not always sweet, right?
Yes.
It has many things which we need to overcome, which we need to think of,
Mhm.
and that actually makes us strong. And if we do not deal with those problems or deal with those anxieties, then
Yes.
we won't be strong, or our inner strength won't grow up. So
Right.
I wanted to, that's the message I wanted to say, that you do not have to be disheartened because you are lonely, because you are not able to achieve something, but you need to sit and think that there is something positive in you, and that should encourage you to move forward. So that's the message I wanted to, yeah, impart through these poems. Yeah.
Right. And it's brilliant how, I mean, we're going through a pandemic. So a message like this is definitely something that
Yeah.
everyone's looking for. So talking about that, I did want to sort of get more into the inspiration behind writing this poetry collection.
See, there's no particular inspiration, but I can say, see, this bonding towards poetry, it has been from childhood, because, I'm quite privileged because I have read a lot of books, poetry books, story books, and specifically William Wordsworth, John Keats, then W.B. Yeats, then, of course, our Rabindranath Tagore, because I'm from West Bengal. So
Yes.
all those poems, I mean, they are not very complex kind of poems. They are written in simple words, and you can understand them. And there is so much feelings on those poems. So when I was going through my college, going through my professional life, not that I thought that one day I can publish a poetry book, but those words, those feelings used to quite allure me. And I used to write short snippets. Even recently, I was opening up my diary, and I was really surprised I used to write like that. So, so I was, so that was what I used to do. And then, when I came into this writing world, not a very long number of years, but when I came into this, and then when I saw that I was able to put those feelings into words, into a very meaningful and soulful words, and I got some appreciations from my family and friends. And then actually, there was suggestion from some renowned poets also, whom I interacted, that why not you go up for a poetry book. And then I always mention in my book launch also, I mention specifically from Kyoto, it's Indranil Mandal. He's my college senior, you can say. So he sort of inspired me, like, why don't you put up in a book? So then I was a bit anxious at that moment, but yes, my family, friends, they all supported. And then I thought of, okay, let me write poems for a book. And that went. And initially I wrote few, I think 20 odd poems. And then to publish a book, I had to write more, and I did that. And I'm happy that I was successful. And so that's a history, small history behind this book.
Right. I mean, yeah, in Kyoto Publishing, we definitely want to celebrate passion. And like you're talking about it, you have been very passionate about writing. And it's interesting because you talked about how you started with 20 poems and then you sort of build up more, because there are definitely more than 20 poems in the book. So what does a typical writing routine looks like for you when you get into writing?
See, for me, when I write there are two things. One is writing a poem, and one is writing a story. So when I write a poem, the thing is, I need to be disconnected from the regular life, because when your mind is with those responsibilities, with those professional things going on in your head, words literally, for me, those words don't come out, because you have so much things going on in my head. So what I do is, at the end of the day, that's my favorite time. So at the end of the day, when everything is quiet, and so then I start recollecting those feelings, and recollecting those thoughts, or all those different aspects of life, feelings, those come into me. And then I'm able to put them into put them into words of a poem. Because your mind needs relaxation when you think something. Your mind needs some peace, some quietude. Otherwise, it's very difficult to actually the poems which I write, because those are full of feelings, full of emotions, those need some silence. So that's the best part of my whole day, when time of my whole day, when I write those poems. And so, because I noticed a difference between writing a poetry and a story. You can, you need calm, but at least you can write when you are on the go. But on poem, it is different. It is difficult for me to write on the go. I need some solitude, I need some calm time for me, and then I put forward those words.
Okay, so looks like there's a lot of, like, I don't know, long writing sessions at the end of the night for you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I can't help it, but that's the best part, and that's how I'm able to write the poems which I want to. Yeah.
Right. I think a lot of people, a lot of writers can relate to you. I think those late night hours are known as the writer's hours for a reason. So yes. And you talked about, like, the difference between writing a story and writing a poem, but you're also a blogger, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you're sort of getting into these different forms of writing. how do you manage that? Like, how do you sort of disconnect from one style and get into another, and also like excel in each of them?
Yeah. So yeah, travel blogging I started before writing poem and
Mhm.
short stories. So I have a website also. So
Right.
basically, travel blogging, when I talk of, it's actually writing about your experience. You don't have to really disconnect yourself to think about the life feelings, emotions, or anything. And it is about what you have experienced, how the people whom you have interacted, what you have seen in nature. So that is quite different. So you can sit and think of how the travel had been, what all the obstacles you faced, or how was your experience, etc. And then you put it down in your words. You you are actually writing something in real, not a fictional kind of thing. So
Right.
you have to come out of your imagination thing and be a lot of in a real situation, I can say.
Right.
But so that's why when I do my travel blogging, I do not wait for end of the night. I can do it anytime, because that's when I'm in the real world and I'm actually writing about my experience.
Right.
But when it comes to a poem, it's different. You have to disconnect yourself. You have to come out of the real world, and you have to go into that. I say it's a divine world
Mhm.
because you are into a state where you are out of these normal worries, or what do you call, the hustle and bustle of life, and then um, go into a state of imagination. Even a story is like that, though it doesn't have to be so much out of the world like a poem, but even a story is like that. So I do not write very long stories, though I have written a novel, but I do not write, because for me short stories are better. So
Right.
um, so for these two, I sort of try to disconnect myself and then concentrate on them. So there are two ways of writing. I mean, be a travel blogger and be a poet and a writer.
Right. I think it's very interesting how you describe writing poetry being in the sort of like a divine world. And you also mentioned these poets from the Romantic era, which are like Wordsworth and Keats.
Yes.
And I could definitely feel those in your poems as well. And you also mentioned how you like when your words are simple. This is also something I read in your bio in the book, sort of a spoiler for the readers. But yeah, so I want to discuss more about this approach where your words are so simple so that it sort of resonates with all generations, but also the words are so flowery. So I mean, this is a great feat, sort of using simple words but also like these very beautiful words. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, see, there are different types of audience, right? When you
Mhm.
write a poem, when you write a story, there are different types of audience.
Right.
Now, now it should not be like I am writing the way I want, and my audience doesn't like it. So that's what I don't want it. Though there are some poems which I think, okay, it is actually related to me, but then I have to think of my audience and my readers as well. So
Yeah.
what I try to do is, though I sometimes use complex words, but I try to minimize them as much as possible, because
Mhm.
all readers do not connect with very strong or complex words, unless it is like a sonnet kind of thing or
Mhm.
something very complex in poetry.
Mhm.
So
Right.
but important is, even if I use the simple words and those do not bring out those feelings, the flowery words which you're talking about, those
Yeah.
do not bring out those feelings, then a a poem doesn't have any what do you call it, it's not effective at
Mhm.
all. Because writing a story in simple words, it's still easy, but writing a poem without any feelings coming out, or without those words which impact the topic of the poem. So
Right.
that's why I try to create a balance as much as possible. I'm still learning on it, but still I'm trying to keep that balance, so that because there are two parts everywhere. There are feelings and there are technical part also in a poem. I mean,
Yeah.
people look for good words, which I try to introduce, but then not very tough ones, so that some people may not understand it well. And if they do not understand what I want to share or what I want to portray through my poems, that won't come out. So that's what I try. Hope
Right.
I'm able to do better more and more.
No, I definitely like how you sort of categorize it as two things. There's feelings and there's just these technical complex forms of writing.
Yeah.
But when I was reading your poems, it didn't really sound like, you are sort of clinging to a certain technicality, right? So it's sort of look like you're also getting into rhymes and you're also getting into free verse. So these different styles of writing poetry, so do you think it's something that is necessary, that you have to like sort of adhere to certain style of writing poetry? Because I think this is something that deters a lot of people. They want to write poetry, but they always get sort of stuck in the technicalities of it.
Yeah, this poetry thing has evolved a lot. Like unlike I mean, the older years, when there was the poets used to focus on the rhyming of the words. Yeah,
Right.
like each line has to rhyme and all. But now the modern day poetry, it has changed, though I prefer the rhyming because that sets up a tune in the poem. But for the generations now, and now the poetry has changed a lot, because it's not like just a rhyming. You can write sort of a verse also. It may
Right.
not that the I mean, the two lines, consecutive lines, have to rhyme. Those are not a hard fast rule now. It is not like you have to follow this style of writing. So,
Hmm.
but one thing is, it should not look like I'm writing a paragraph. It should be, yeah, it
Right.
should be, it should come with some sort of tuning, some sort of rhyming, but not like you have to rhyme with the first line exactly. Now the rhyming is like, you can if you write the first line and the fourth line rhyming, then also it works. So,
Yes.
but you have to bring out those a little bit of feelings and emotions, or the inner meaning in those words. It should not be like a very monotonous kind of lines in the poem. So I don't think it is like following a particular style of writing. You have to follow it. Your poems can have multiple styles of writing. I have seen poets of whom I work with, many of them, they write different styles. One is like a very short poem. It may be about 8 lines, and all lines do not rhyme. Very short lines also. So that is also accepted. And big
Right.
poems where you particularly take care of the rhyming. So there are different ways of writing poem, and modern day poetry has evolved a lot. It's quite different now from what we have seen in the older days. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you've given a few tips to our viewers, and I want to expand on that more later. But before that, I was thinking maybe you can read out maybe one or two poems from the book.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll be happy to do that. And I'll
Yes.
be starting with the favorite one which you told.
Yes. We had a chat before
Yeah.
this live session, and I mentioned my favorite poem from the book.
Yeah, okay, sure. So it's called The Solitude. Yeah.
Yes.
My eyes seek for solace. My mind craves for peace, reminiscing the old past days and beckoning the future in its ways.
Mhm.
Gazing at the twinkling stars, soaking into the natural wonders, I feel an eternal calmness enrapturing me into a world of grandness. I call it my solitude, a silent yet meaningful in its gratitude. I love and cherish these moments, offering a world wrapped with mysteries. No, the quietude never haunts me. Instead, it rekindles the inner me, rejuvenating the sparkle concealed within me, uplifting the soul cocooned within me. It's like, um, I love my solitude. It's not that I'm worried I'm alone, because there are certain times of life, certain moments in my life where we need to stay alone and discover ourselves. Who am I? What capability I have? So that is what I try to put in this poem.
Beautiful. I loved it. I loved it more now that you have given.
Yeah, yeah, actually, I had a poetry live session before. And
Okay.
like, when you are right, when you read the poem, you cannot understand what the feelings have been
Yes.
portrayed by the poet many a times, but when you read it with feelings, then actually that comes out better. Yeah, I agree.
Right. And on that note, I would also like if you can read another poem from the book. Your
Yeah,
choice.
I will. Okay, I'll do that, the inner strength, because
Okay.
that what is something which makes me feel I'm strong from inside.
Okay.
Yeah. You tore me apart. So sorry, I will start it. So that's called the inner strength.
Mhm.
You tore me apart when I needed you the most. You left me alone when I was craving for you as my only one. My integrity was my treasure, which I preserved for you ever. But you trashed it mercilessly and left me moaning cruelly. You thought I am weak. You thought I am freak. Today I take the privilege that you are wrong, Your Highness. I am strong like a wind. I am enduring in my mind. Overcoming all the hatred, I have emerged bold in my own selfish world. So, in our life, because I have come a long way in our life, in my life. So, in our life, we face different kinds of people. There will be people who will hurt you. They may not love you. They may not realize how strong you are or how beautiful you are from your heart. I'm not talking about the physical, but I'm talking about the mental. The heart which is within you.
Yes.
So do not be disheartened because someone is not giving you the required worth. That doesn't demean you, or that doesn't make you someone who should be shunned or hated. But you are worthy of yourself, and you should be strong within yourself to face these different difficulties in life and move forward. So that's a sort of a small message.
Beautiful. Again, I think it speaks of what we were talking about before, how your book talks about both the highs and lows of
Yeah.
life and also your experience with it and how to sort of like, move past that. That's beautiful. And I think, I mean, two poems are enough because we do want the readers to pick up the book and get to know
Yes.
you through your poems.
Yes.
So,
Just
beautiful.
showing the book again. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The treasures of
Okay.
yes. We do have a few audience questions coming in, but I will be taking those questions and I'll be asking them to Kuntala at the end of the session. So please stick around. The next thing that I want to talk about was your publishing process, because publishing a book is a great feat, right? I mean, and you've published multiple books now. So can you like talk your readers through your publishing experience?
Yeah, so as I said, when I was not, first of all, when I started writing my books, I was not aware of Equator. And then, as I told Indranil, he connected with me. And I was really astonished that because normally you see all the publishers, if you go, first is they offer they ask for a huge amount of money. And sometimes beginners who are like me, who have started writing after such a long time, we do not quite, we are hesitant to do that.
Mhm.
But
Yes.
when I learned of Equator, I was amazed. Like, you're publishing, as soon as I sent forward all the poems, and of course I have other books also, but it was very smooth. The response was very good, and the manuscript and the final book which I received after sending my manuscript with all the technicalities resolved, with all the the proofreading and editing done. It was marvelous. It was smooth. And the best thing is it was very fast. I mean, I never expected it to be so fast, and I was amazed. And then you selected the book cover also so nicely. It was actually portraying the name of the book correctly, and the pub and and it was like printed very well. I have got and some of my friends have also purchased, some of my relatives. I'm very quite happy, and the publishing process was very smooth. I'm very happy. And you organize also such grand campaigns which are very useful to actually promote your book, because promotion is a big thing in a publishing process. So
Yes.
that was a very good thing, and I got good comments from the book reviewers as well. So I'm quite happy with this journey with Kyoto, and I will continue it.
Well, I mean, what I can say is that the reviews is all you. It's your writing. But I'm glad that you had a smooth experience with us in publishing, and I hope you publish more books with us. And talking about that, I really want to talk about your future plans with writing, because it looks like your passion for writing while you balance your life and your career is astounding. So what can we expect from you in the future?
There I am. Right now, I'm working on a project, and of course, I'll be publishing with Kyoto. So it's about. I'll not reveal the book name now,
Yes, yes,
but
don't do
it's
that.
all about. I mean, different. I have connected with different authors and poets who are very renowned in their international arena. So we are forming a group and coming up with certain compositions. It will be a mixture of poems and short stories.
Mhm.
So that's the first project. And the second is, I don't know, that is what I've planned. I have planned to write a sonnet kind of thing. It's like a book, a story, but it will be written through the lines of a poem. So that's my
Mm.
second one. And I am and I'm thinking of working on a novel also. So this
Okay.
will continue. This will continue till I'm able to write. This until the age I'm able to write, but this will continue. So it's not like something it will stop. So but yeah, I'm thinking of working on different types of projects, not a single aspect, like so I'm thinking of, these are the three things I have thought of. So more and more will come up. It will be
Okay.
sort of a continuous journey.
Great. It's amazing to know that you're sort of trying, all sorts. You're writing a novella, you're writing poems, and sort of collaborating with other artists. I'm very excited
Yeah.
to see all of this coming together. And talking about the tips that you were giving to the writers that we were talking about before, can you sort of give our readers, your readers, and our viewers, and just everyone sort of wanting to get into writing, and especially writing poetry, some tips?
Yeah, see, first of all, the first tip for writing is you have to read, because without reading, and it has to be on a continuous basis, without reading the poems who are written by very eminent poets, how they write those verses, how they express the feelings, you will not be able to write, because that is the inspiration. This is the first one. Second is a technical part. You have to improve your vocabulary very fast. And one of the tip I give for vocabulary is, and how I also improved myself, is to um, cultivate on the words. It's not like, if I know a word called, very simple, if I know a word called astonishing, right? It's like being surprised. So every time you cannot use the word astonished, right? So you
Right.
have to learn how to use different ways of expressing my surprise, or I'm surprised, or I am astonished. So you have to work on that.
Mhm.
Then you have to be a dreamer. You have to imagine. You have to disconnect yourself from that reality. Okay, everything is not practical in a poet's life. It has to be unreal. It has to be something you have to imagine. So that dreaming is important. If you are not a dreamer, it is very difficult to write poems. So you have to, and you have to open your eyes and see everything which is around you. There are so many things you can write on. It is not only on life which I have written. You
Mhm.
look out in the nature, you will see so many things and you can relate that to your life. So you have to think and think. So that is very important. And last, which I do, and which I should also tell who are aspiring or who are the readers, that if you want to write poem, find a certain time in the day, a certain time in your life separately for yourself, where it is only you and your own and your thoughts. You should not be distracted by anything. It can be your friends, it can be your family, and if, who are married, they should be distracted from their kids also. This is harsh to say, but we have to. and and you have to you cannot think that I have to go to a party. You cannot think that I have to attend some ceremony. Nothing. You should be completely out of all distractions. Focus. See, if you want to focus for 2 hours, focus for 2 hours, and it is to be only you, and then only those words will come out. And it is not mandatory you have to write a long poem at the beginning. Write 4 lines only, or 8 lines only, and see how it is coming out. Read it to someone very close to you, some of your well-wisher, and see if they are able to connect with you. And if it is so, slowly you will be able to proceed and complete a good poem one day.
Beautiful
That's what I
and
want
very
to tell.
useful tips, in my opinion. And definitely, I agree with you because, practice does make perfect. So you do have to sort of
Yes.
give your focus to your writing. And I hope our readers, our viewers, and your readers definitely agree with it as well. So I would like to take
Yes.
some audience questions right now. So one of the questions says that, how do you know how many poems to put in a poetry collection? Interesting question.
Yeah, very interesting question, because what I was telling initially, when I came up with this book, I sort of first came up with 20 poems, and then I understood, after working with Yukioto, of course, that it's normally, when you come up with a book of what I have come out, it's about 38 to 40 poems of the size which I have written. Not
Mhm.
very long poems, say a 1 page or a half-page poem. It's normally you should come up with 38 to 40 poems, because the thing is, see, it is different from a story, because poems are not very long, they are short ones. So it should not be like your readers read about say 20 poems and say, oh, it's too less, I mean, I should have more. So that's why poems have to be more in a book. So, but initially for a normal book, it is about 38 to 40, if it is a 1 page or a half-page poem. But if you are writing long poems, you can think of maybe say 35 or 30 to 35 range. But I prefer the 40
Mhm.
poems.
Yeah,
That's how you have to decide. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's great advice, because I think this is something everyone struggles with. Like, how many stories or how many poems do you
Yeah.
include in a book, right? Another question says that, is it necessary for you to learn how to write? Is there a workshop where I can learn how to write?
Yeah, workshops are there. I mean, there are workshops, though I have not attended any workshop myself, but there are poetry writing, creative writing workshop. I had conducted one creative writing workshop myself with Wonder Years. There is an initiative which is there with my friend. So there are workshops. If you want to attend, there are renowned teachers who teach you how to write poems, how to do creative writing. So they will even check if you have written a poem. They do check, and they do some corrections, and they help. So those workshops are available. You can attend. It's I mean, it's not a hard and fast rule that you you have to attend, but if you feel like you should do that, because if you feel that you have to learn more, you're not able to express your words or write poems, then it's better you go for a workshop. But you have to write continuously and read and write continuously. Otherwise, even if you attend the workshop, it will be for say 2 to 3 days, not much than that. But that will end, but your practice has to go on. So
yeah, you have to write regularly, and I think these workshops are more catered to like sort of honing your skills, which is definitely important. But obviously writing regularly is important as well. The last question I'm going to take is, what is your blog's name? So can you give us your blog's name?
That's great. Thank you for asking. I mean, I'm privileged. So my blog's name is travelogue.kuntala.com. It's TRAVELOGUE of kuntala.com. So if you search in the net, you will be able to get it.
Great. You should definitely check out the blog, but you should also definitely check out all the books that Kuntala has written, especially the poetry collection, The Treasures of Life. I am going to link where you can buy the book from Yukioto, and also on Amazon. And also I would like Kuntala to give your social media handles maybe, so that they can look up your blog and also your social, like your Instagram and Facebook maybe.
Yeah, so my Instagram ID is travelogue.of.kuntala. So there you can find me, and Facebook ID. Facebook ID. I have the page ID of my blog. That is again Travelogue Unlimited. So that's the Facebook page. And personal one, if you want, you can share, but it's better we connect through the Facebook page and Instagram page. Yeah, that's the two places where I am active. Yeah.
That's great. I will definitely link your social media handles as well, so our viewers can definitely find you there. And thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful chat. And I really hope that our viewers found this chat very wonderful, taking out time on a precious Sunday to listen to us talk about this book. And I really hope that our viewers will also get your book and read it and sort of get inspired to write as well, because that's what we're here for, right? We're here to sort of inspire everyone to write.
Yeah, I would be very happy if you check the book. And as you have mentioned, it's there in Amazon, it's there in Kyoto Publishing Store. So do purchase it and share your feedback, because feedbacks are very important, and it doesn't matter it is good or bad, because that will help me to write better poems and better verses. So I'll be really hoping for that. Yeah.
Yes. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to give a concluding note to the session?
Yeah, sure. And thank you also. Thank you to you also for organizing it so beautifully. And all those who have joined, I'm very thankful that you have joined, and you have also interacted with questions, which I think I'm able to answer. And last of all, for all the budding poets and the people of this new generation, please try and write poems, because I heard from many readers that poems are not read anymore. They are losing their value. I was literally surprised, and they said you should write more, because you should write more poems and bring out that genre of literature forward. So I really want to request the people of this generation to write more poems and express your feelings more and more. Let this genre of literature progress forward, just like we do for novels and short stories, and that will be the happiest thing to be happening. So
such a great way to end this session. Obviously, I really hope that our viewers have been inspired today to write, and I hope we'll be seeing you publishing poetry books and just engaging with poetry more. So thank you so much, Kuntala, and again thank you everyone for watching it. And now we're going to end it here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kuntala. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.